Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance, and this is one of our members. It's the unextraordinary PFET, and he's in the M44 on Karelia, and it's an assault battle and he's defending. Oh, bit of traffic jam at the start. Now this is a tier 8 battle, and of course the M44 is a tier 6 Arty, so there's great potential to make a lot of credits and score nicely. Okay, first target's turned up, it's in the Type 64. Okay, and we're extending our aim, looking for the target. There's the Type 64. He's hiding behind a rock. He's moderately Arty safe, but obviously you can still splash him from there. And if he backs up like that, yep. Wow! 95 hit points, but it's a total wipeout. Good shot. Okay, we've got 3 targets here, right up on top of the ridgeline. He's going for the easy 8, but there's a T-3485, I think. Certainly looks like a T-3485. Right, that one's disappeared. In fact, they've all disappeared from sight, which is unusual. But we do have an IKV-90 sitting on top of the horseshoe. Rounds in, and he gets a 216 hit point hit, 2 critical hits, and picked up some stun assists as well. So that was extremely worthwhile. And there. Well, that's a Skoda T25. That's the auto-loading version. And he's firing around in there. And it landed next to the rock. So even if the Skoda pulled back, he certainly would have been hit by some splash. Oh, another tree went down. 2 trees went down. Okay, so indicates the presence of somebody to knock those trees down. But he's not going to fire because some bigger targets have turned up in the northeast quadrant. Okay, he's going for the easy 8 first. Going to make the more satisfying bang because of course it is. Oh, and he wipes it out. And that driver is back in the garage. Yeah, he splashed it to death. It didn't have much in the way of hit points, but he took it out. Okay, now the next target. And that AMX M445 has been tracked, and he's managed to get a nice bout of damage, 181 hit points. Keeps repeating that, and his score will be high at the end of the battle. Rounds out. Oh, that was a direct hit. That one hit. You heard the sizzle as the explosive went off right against the side of the vehicle. 221 hit points on that one. That's a good shot. Okay, got 189 off that M4EC 2 there. That's the Super Jumbo, I think, isn't it? And yeah, I think he damaged the track as well, so he's picked up some damage assist on that one. And of course the Super Jumbo has been taken out, or the Jumbo has been taken out. Okay, going for the M4 again. Yes. And he's done it again. He's really damaging it. That player's going to be taking it personally, I think, by now. You say, why am I being victimized? Well, you're out in the open, that's why. This driver, on the other hand, this Tiger 2, is being a little more careful. He's trying to hide behind the rock. He has been stunned, but he's trying to use that rock to good advantage to protect himself from shells, and it is working. You'd think that they'd learn after a while. Okay, now that looks to me like a Hellcat. And it's no longer. He's back in the garage. Okay, going for that M4 again. He must have learnt by now, unless of course he has a learning difficulty, which is probably the case. And he's been stunned again. 2 critical hits. It was a track. He's obviously burned his repair kit again to move out of the way. Yep, and he's going to back up into another shell. Rounds out. And he's been hit again. He must be feeling it by now. I'm sure there's a few choice words being said about Arty at the by that driver. Okay, the Tiger 2 has been a little more courageous this time. He's come a bit further forward, but unfortunately he got a direct hit. 202 hit points. And he's back behind the rock again. He obviously knows where to play. So I suspect that this player does play Arty quite a lot. Because he knows where to go to protect himself. And he's dropped out of sight again, so he knows that he's clear. And he'll probably advance now, knowing he's clear. It looks to me like Unextraordinary is going to relocate to get a better position on this M4 driver. Round out. He stuns him. The unfortunate thing about the stun on the M44 is it doesn't last very long. You need to hit targets that can be hit virtually immediately by your team or to strike them directly. Okay, he can get that Tiger 2. Rounds out. Ah, yes, he did. 154 and 3 critical hits. And now, if that M4 keeps backing away like that, he will back right into a shell. He's perfectly set up for one. Rounds out. Oh no, hit the rock face. Landed short. That's RNG for you. Okay, now he's side scraping like a champ, that Tiger 2, but really the Tiger 2 is a sniper, not a side scraper, and he's paid for it by being tracked in a position where he can be hit repeatedly. And he's Unextraordinary has picked up a huge amount in stun assist, over 600 hit points, and he wipes him out with that shot. 21 hit points. That player is back in the garage. And the M4's back in the garage too, because he's just been killed by the IS-3. Right, now, unfortunately, we've noticed that there are some enemies approaching from the south. And they're approaching quite rapidly. So, Unextraordinary has actually had to relocate a little, but he's going to have difficulty hitting the ISU, but he can hit this OI. Lined up, rounds out. Oh, perfect shot! 151 and scratched the OI. Now, he needs to move and move quick. Get out of there, because that IS-2 is really close now. You can see this IKV's coming around. He's going to try and help, and the Hellcat will too. It would help if Unextraordinary moves further east, using the rocks here for protection, because most of the enemy on the north side of the map has been wiped out. The scores are fairly balanced, but this is an assault battle, and I'm afraid for them it's 2 minutes to go. That's the 2-minute warning, and they still really haven't made enough grounds to justify a possible victory. Right, now dialing in on the ISU 152. Rounds out. Oh, that was a direct hit. 4 critical hits, 87 hit points, and a bit of stun. That driver is now regretting it. He's probably burned his repair kit. And the Black Dog's going in behind him and causing no end of trouble. Or is there Black Dog? No, it's a Walker Bulldog. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, Unextraordinary is now relocating a little closer to the back area. I think there's still concerns about where that T-3485M has got to. That was the one he was firing at earlier, or rather much earlier on in the battle, right at the start of the battle. But we're into the last minute, and still no sight of the enemy. They've only got 4 remaining members, if you include the Arty. But if they were going to make a serious assault, now's the time. And Fett is he's positioning himself where he can actually hit any tank that's coming up the central ramp, the ramp that Quickybaby likes using. And that ramp's actually located in the junction of E3 and E4, running up into D3. And yes, there is somebody just there. So not surprising, they have decided to use the ramp. It is the quickest route does allow them to spot the enemy. There he is, and he is on the ramp. Okay, it's the thinking that's the AT7. Yeah, it is the AT7, and that's the battle. The battle time has run out, and they haven't succeeded. So let's have a look at the end of score stats. Oh, sorry about this. And there it is. Okay, it's an ace tanker for the unextraordinary PFET in the M44. He also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, career incapacitations or module damage. In fact, he picked up 21 in that battle. And he got a fighter badge because he managed to get at least 4 kills. In fact, that's exactly what he got, 4 kills. And we can see all the targets he hit there. On team scores, well, he came top on damage with 1,995 hit points. He didn't get the high caliber. That actually, I think that would have gone, in theory, to the ISU 152 on the enemy team, because he actually did score a higher amount of damage overall. But for some reason, he's not picking up the high caliber either. So, very peculiar that. Maybe it was not 20% of the hit points of the enemy team. But Unextraordinary did get the highest number of kills on his team with 4, and he did get the highest base XP of 1,194. He fired 21 rounds, he got 9 direct hits, 9 penetrations, and 10 splash. He did damage of 1,995 hit points, of which 1,864 were at more than 300 meters. I suppose the closest one was probably that ISU 152. He hit 9 of the enemy, killed 4 of them. He also did damage assistance of 28 hit points and stun assistance of 1,557, which is a decent score of 15 stuns. On a premium account, he earned 54,107 credits, and he got a personal reserves bonus on top of that of 27,054 credits. So his total amount came to 81,161, which is a huge amount. But of course, because ammunition on the M44 is so cheap, even though he fired 21 rounds, he's still taking away 70,556 credits in total. It just shows how profitable the M44 is. It is probably one of the most profitable vehicles in the game. In fact, according to VB Addict, it is the most profitable per game. And on top of that, he received XP of 1,791. Because there was no multipliers, that's all he took away. But he did get an ace tanker, and that's a good result for Unextraordinary PFET. If you enjoyed this replay, please do give it a like and do subscribe to our channel because it's built for the members. And hopefully I'll be seeing your replay in the next video.